this is going to be me describing one of my dreams and then analyzing it. In the dream, there were two gigantic crabs. One was a bit smaller and one was really huge. It was like 4 feet big and had these multiple foot pinchers that could pinch your arm off, and it was sleeping. And for some reason or the other, it was my job to restrain the crabs. So I was trying to work on the little one first, and I had some gloves on, like the ones that I use at the psych ward I work at. And you'll see why that's important. So I'm holding on to this, and it actually really physically hurts in the dream. There's like spines, and it really hurts. And so then this guy comes in who's a specialist in dealing with this stuff, and he's a married guy. It's very clear he's married and has a kid in the story. And he pulls 2 tarot cards. And if you're not familiar with that, it's a set of cards with spiritual meanings that people use for divination and meditation. And he pulls the Strength card and the Brother of Water card, otherwise known as the Knight of Water. And under the Brother of Water card, it shows a bat. That's the symbol for the card, and it talks about, it's called unity through love. And he tries to put the cards into his gloves. I'm like, no, please don't. I don't want you to crinkle those cards. And then, so he's like, okay. And then he goes, and as he approaches the bigger crab grows a human head and says, I want to speak to Devin more. Devin being this specialist guy, because he understands where I'm coming from. He understands my emotions. And this crab human said, you know what I really want? I want to live in Rookwood and go to parks. And that was the entirety of my dream. Now, what on earth could that mean? I have a theory, could be totally wrong. So the crab, as a symbol, even universally, is used as something which has a soft underbelly and a hard and dangerous exterior. So I take this to symbolize a part of myself or a part of other people or both, which is vulnerable and soft, and therefore it puts up strong defenses to protect itself, some which really become a barrier to its own healing. And like I said, I started working in a psych ward 2 months ago, and I've never done any work like that before. And there's people there that are violent and angry, and I think this dream really connects with that, of really they're just very vulnerable and afraid, and so they're putting up a strong defense to make sure that they're not injured, and that actually gets in the way of their healing. And in order to be transformed, in order to be turned back into the human which they really are, they need someone who understands who they are, understands their vulnerabilities, and understands what they really want. And I think that's true for other people, and I also think that's true for myself, and the crab can represent the shadow aspect of myself. The shadow aspect being those parts of myself which are unacceptable to my ego, and which are hurting, afraid, and therefore aggressive. And then the final part I'd say is those 2 tarot cards are so fascinating because, my dream was like, you know what, we're going to use direct symbols. Not only are we going to use all the dream symbols, we're going to use literal spiritual symbols that you study in your waking life. And they're so appropriate because the image of the Strength card is a woman who's holding the head of a lion and controlling the lion, but the woman is absolutely peaceful. She's not exerting force. She tames the violent, dark, and also powerful shadow aspects of herself and others through love, through true love. So it's not a forceful, it doesn't need any force, it's through the power of love. And of course, the second card, the Brother of Water, unity through love, accentuates this idea that this person in the dream, who is also a version of myself and other people that I see, working at my psych ward or in my daily life, that is someone who uses the power of love to redeem and transform those parts of ourselves that are hurting and therefore violent or defensive. And yeah, and it's super interesting because you'd see that dream and think, what the hell does that mean? And yet, kind of looking through it, after I kind of went through it a couple times and did some analysis, it seems so clear and almost obvious to me. And I'm like, wow, that is such a beautiful expression of this deep inner wisdom that I have.